Hi, everybody. I'm Tegan.
I'm Rebecca, and we are both channelers. For those of you who don't know us, we are galactic channelers of other light beings. We're also both psychics, mediums. We work in the Akashic Records. And we're best friends.
And we had a very, very, very interesting experience last night. Our guides have been leading us up to this moment, this kind of equinox eclipse portal that we are currently in for months now, telling us about an experience and an upgrade that we were going to receive, which we received last night. And we want to talk about it and also channel about it.
Yes, exactly. And just for a little bit of background, we are both currently traveling in East Coast Canada and Nova Scotia. We're on a little girls' trip, doing some grid work, doing some energy work. That's what we like to do for fun. And one of the things that we learned while we were out here was that from an owner from a metaphysical shop out here, was that this land is the last remaining land of Atlantis, which makes total sense because we are on the Atlantic Ocean.
Full body chills.
I did
with
too.
That,
I did
baby.
too. I totally did too. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. Do you want to start briefly just talking about what we experienced last night?
Yeah. So basically leading up into this point, our guides were saying, like I said, we were going to receive an energy activation. We were going to meet them in the physical. And we are in this off-grid cabin in the middle of nowhere with no electricity, and which is perfect because that's exactly the kind of energy that they want. They don't want interference to be able to receive these kind of have these kind of interactions with us. And we've received this message many times before from them. So we set the intention. It was wild. The energy was wild.
It was heavy, but it was also light.
Yeah.
It was so activating. And we went back and forth and channeled particularly the Syrians and the Pleiadians, who are guides that work with us. There were definitely other beings here as well. I could clairvoyantly see a shield around the cabin of energy. And we also began to be able to clairvoyantly see them here in the actual cabin. And so through a series of downloads, activations, work basically they were doing on upgrading our crystalline bodies, we got a very profound download, and we both got it
at the same time,
which is so crazy because there are so many times where I'll call or message Tegan and be like, I got this crazy download, and then she'll tune into it and get more, and vice versa. But we received this activation at the same time, and it was talking to the actual, bear with me as I put words to this. I know Tegan wrote it all down.
I did write it all down. I just want to share my perspective of what was coming through because I think it helps with the description of what the download actually was. So with the ability to see them clairvoyantly in the room with us, in my mind's eye, I had my Syrian guide communicate with me and basically tell me to put my hands out like this in front of me, which I did in the physical as well as in the energetic. And in the energetic, he pulled me up and spun me around, and we were dancing in this little cabin on an astral level. But the download that came through was that there is no difference between an energetic projection of your consciousness and this physical human incarnation, because this physical human incarnation is also just a projection of consciousness from your soul or your higher self.
Exactly. And so this ties into how we actually meet extraterrestrial or higher dimensional beings. It's not about simply us being at a higher vibration and being able to meet them vibrationally. It's about both parties, so us and them, intentionally projecting ourselves into the same reality, right? So I had a similar experience. I didn't even tell you about this last night, but so she's hearing it for the first time, but I actually hugged them. I went up to first my Pleiadian guides and then up to the Sirians, and it was like a group hug. Like, it was a group hug in the astral realm, and it felt physical. Like, my physical body felt the pressure of the hug and all of that. And so what I really want to relay is our expectations of what meeting these beings in the physical, in solidity. I think that part of the experience we had was so that we could give clarity to the collective on what this is really going to look like and what is required for us to embody in order for us to be able to have those experiences.
Yeah, and basically, like, because, obviously we're trying to articulate this kind of embodied experience, and there is, like, a difference. Like, having that kind of download, there is, like, a real kind of sense of embodiment. And, like, the best way that I can describe that level of embodiment is, like, Neo waking up out of the Matrix.
Yep.
Being able to recognize that as much as this is real, it's an illusion, and you can create and control and manipulate it into whatever you want. And really, like, the integration period that we've been discussing between March and May is an integration of these higher vibrational energies that have come in during this period that are going to fully, like, be embodied and integrated by that latter period in time. And that's important because this kind of initial wake up and this period of integration and practice is what is allowing us the time to shift those beliefs enough so that the ETs we can have, like, more kind of clear, in-depth, in physical interactions with them, because it's happening through our understanding of ourselves as beyond just this. It's moving beyond that veil.
And, to put it in the simplest terms, you basically have to believe that you can see them in order to see them. And the interesting thing is that messages have been coming through for both of us, leading up to Open Contact. And I'm talking well before the beginning of this year, leading up to Open Contact, the reveal of their ships, them coming down and landing. And one of the messages has always been, those who are ready will see us. Mm-hmm. Those with that higher vibrational energy will see us. But it's not simply about raising your vibration. It's about understanding the truth of the reality that we are experiencing, which is very matrixy, it's very matrixy. And, like, we were talking last night about it, and I was like, we knew all of this. It just was never embodied. Like, we experienced what it was like to operate from this perspective of knowing, this deep knowing that, they were showing me as us as well. Like, they kept saying to us, we are here. Mm-hmm. We are here. It's a matter of our perspective that needed to shift. They were physically here in the room, right? But because our perspective is still developing, or that embodiment is still developing, we didn't see them with our physical eyes. But again, like they explained, there is no difference. Yeah. It is the same being together, experiencing that hug or that dance, the way that we did last night. There's no difference. They don't see a difference. So we have to release these limiting beliefs about we're not really seeing them if we're not seeing them through the experience of my physical eyeballs seeing them. That's just a limiting belief. Yeah, it's all about shifting our perspective of reality and who we are and how we operate and all of that fun stuff. This is Ascension. This is what this is. And what Tegan and I are going through, we are going through because we're running out of time. We're going through because we are called to share these experiences with those who are also going through the ascension. Yes. So before we run out of time, we're going to both have more updates on our pages, but I love you, we love you, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Bye, guys.